Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Sasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, we talk about living your most abundant life. And today, talking about one of the most important areas we can do that, which is in our relationships. So how to have the most fulfilling relationships we can, and how specifically to heal any relationship. I'm giving you the one main thing that you need to know to heal any relationship. I think we might need some coffee for this. Okay, we're back. So, healing relationship wounds. There's one thing that you need to understand. So often we talk about forgiveness, but actually, let's forget that word. It's less about forgiveness and more about acceptance. When it comes to relationships, it's really about loving the person as they are. I know you've heard this a million times. It's not necessarily unconditional love. It's about loving them as they are in the moment. And that means accepting who they are in the moment. So when we're talking about living an abundant life with fulfilling relationships, we're talking about relating to people as we are and as they are. So appreciating them, being grateful for them as how they're showing up in their fullest, truest expression of themselves, and hopefully receiving that back as well. So let's go deeper into this. Acceptance. First, you've got to accept yourself. So remembering that other people are a reflection of us, remembering that anything you judge yourself for or have judgment over in your own life, you're probably going to project that onto your relationships as well. It's really so difficult not to, because if it's already a subconscious judgment within you, then it's likely that's the lens through which you're seeing the world, right? So first you work on yourself, your own judgments. So you're accepting your whole self. Anything you do not accept about yourself becomes something that you don't accept about other people. And then it doesn't matter how many times you might forgive someone, if they keep doing the thing that you have judgment over, it's going to keep triggering. So it's not about just forgiving them for being who they are, it's about accepting them for being who they are. It's not about forgiving yourself for the things you don't like, it's about learning to accept the things that you don't like about yourself. And this doesn't mean suddenly everything's perfect all the time. If you were in relationship with someone that was 100% harmonious all the time, you would be bored and totally unfulfilled. We want to be in relationship with people who excite us in some way. So who activate us on different levels, who make us feel surprised, like pleasantly surprised, make us feel happy and joyful. Also sometimes make us feel a bit sad or a bit like unsure or a bit angry, because they're stimulating for us. We don't want relationships with no triggers, but what we're looking for is a place where we can come to acceptance of those. That's the whole point of growing together and being in fulfilling relationships that provide an abundance of different experiences for us. I also want to caveat, of course, like, this is not about abusive relationships or really dangerous relationships. And what I'm getting to as well is that acceptance doesn't mean you have to live with that person. If someone is doing something that is truly harmful to you or is really misaligned with your values, you can accept it. You can accept this is how this person is. And then from that place, you get to make the empowered choice to walk away. That's the power of acceptance. If you chose forgiveness instead, and you say, oh, I forgive you for hurting me so badly, I forgive you for all the pain you've caused, but you don't accept it, and you're choosing then to just stay with them, you're not empowered anymore. You're gracing them with your forgiveness as if it's a gift, and you're saying, I forgive you, I let you have my forgiveness. and you're putting them on a pedestal and you're putting yourself beneath them. You're making yourself smaller when you offer forgiveness in that way without acceptance. But when you accept the situation, how they are, what they've done, or even yourself as well, remember this can be turned back on you. When you accept, and you can offer forgiveness as well within yourself at the same time, you then are empowered to choose. Like, I know this is how it is, and now I'm going to choose to stay knowing this is the scenario, or I'm going to choose to walk away. In relationships, there is always a power dynamic. Always. And this is not a bad thing, right? Because we're always negotiating where each other's energy is. That's part of the fun of it, I guess. It's part of the joy of being in relationship with other people, is that we are subconsciously and consciously aware of the other person's energy, and we are feeling empowered, we're feeling like we want to be submissive, we're feeling more dominant. All those things are happening all the time in every different situation, in every different moment. So there's always power dynamics, and this is beautiful, it's exciting, it's how we interact. We are in fact quite hierarchical beings. If you look at the structure of our society or the structure of any group, there's always a leader, there's always someone who steps out, there's always someone who prefers to follow rules. This is just how it works. So in any relationship, part of the work is figuring out the power dynamic and letting it be what it is, and letting it be fluid. Letting it be fluid. This is really, really key. Some people like to be in a relationship where it's very static, but I would say if you're watching this video, you're looking for something a little bit different from real life, and you are looking for that deep fulfillment, and that means you want to experience all the different roles that this world has to offer, and you want to try different things out. So you want to be in a relationship that allows you the breadth of experience and the breadth of freedom, space to do that. Therefore, knowing and accepting that there are power dynamics in every moment is a really beautiful way to approach being in successful relationships. You have to learn how to say out loud to the other person, face to face, what you want. This is key. You have to. And it has to be face to face, and you have to say it out loud, the words of the thing that you want. And I know that you would have heard this advice so many times, this guidance, but there really is no substitute. So it's not just on a phone call or even FaceTime, texting. No, none of that is enough. You have to sit in the room with someone, and you have to be able to say what you want. And it might not be comfortable at first. In many ways it won't be comfortable at all, especially if you're not practiced with it, but it is 100% necessary if you're ever going to feel fulfilled in your relationship. Because if the other person doesn't know what you want, but even deeper than that, if you don't feel safe enough to say to the other person what you want, especially if it might make them uncomfortable in some way, or you have a fear that it might make them uncomfortable, you're never going to have a fulfilling relationship. It's just not going to work. So learn to say out loud, practice it with friends, practice it with people who you're not so close to if you need to, but practice saying what you want out loud as much as possible. You can even start just doing it to yourself, just speaking into a mirror, saying, right now I want whatever it is that you want. And then we're going to come full circle here, because this is back to acceptance. You might say what you want, and the other person might not agree with you. They might not have the shared values. They might not see the importance to you of what you're saying. And so then we come back to acceptance of that's their position and that's what they're saying. Can I accept this in this moment? Can I be calm? Can I accept that what their understanding of this is their truth, that what I want is going to stay being what I want because it's really important to me? And then from that place of peace, from that place of acceptance, then you get to have a conversation. You get to have a mature conversation about direction, about how you can each meet the other person's needs and meet what each other wants. And this is not just romantic relationships, this is all relationships. Can you state your position and then not be attached to what the other person comes back with? Again, I want to say for clarity, if you say what you want and then someone tries to like shouts you down or is abusive, rude, aggressive, like of course you need to see that and then you need to make your choice from that. And I would advise to walk away. You don't need to live with that. But acceptance here is really about non-attachment to how the other person reacts to you and holding space for it so that you can have a bigger conversation. So we've gone on a little tour of a few different areas to be mindful of when you're thinking about what a fulfilling relationship is, how to have fulfilling relationships in your life, and how to heal in any relationship. Thank you so much for watching. If you love this topic, drop me a comment. I'd love to dive deeper into it with you. Let me know what you're interested in. Loving you all so much. See you in the next video.